Can the New York Knicks get to the Eastern Conference Finals this year? ESPN Zach Lowe thinks that they can. In today's video, we're going to go over the quotes and we're going to follow along with Zach Lowe as he makes his case for the Knicks to be a top 2 team in the Eastern Conference this year. You're watching Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. I always knew that Zach Lowe knew ball, though. Zach Lowe, the Lowe Post podcast, one of the best for all NBA fans out there. I knew he knew ball, but when he said the things he said about the New York Knicks, yeah, he's number 1 in my power rankings of ball knowers at ESPN. We'll dive into some deeper quotes in a second, but I just want to go with this because I think he makes a great point right here. The Knicks won a playoff series last year. They demolished the Cleveland Cavaliers, who were the 4 seed, and the Knicks were the 5 seed. They competed hard against Miami in the second round. I think it's fair to say right now that the Knicks are a top team in the Eastern Conference right now. Yes, the Milwaukee Bucks are at the top of the top after they traded for Damian Lillard, but who's to say the Knicks can't be the second best team? I'm not scared of the 76ers. I'm not scared of any of the teams outside of Milwaukee right now in the Eastern Conference. And I'm honestly tired of the disrespect that the Knicks continue to get when it comes to their organization, their way of making moves, and the current roster. If there was a team that wasn't the New York Knicks, that won a playoff series as underdogs in 5 games, and they went to the second round and they pushed the Eastern Conference champions to Game 6, and they didn't have 2 of their top 3 players playing, and they had the average age of 25.2 of all second-round teams, which is the lowest, that would be the hot, sexy pick for every other ESPN NBA talking head to make a leap next year. But because it's the Knicks, and it's easy to shit on the Knicks because of Dolan or whatever reason, no one wants to give their Knicks the credit. But Zach Lowe, he's not into all the politics. He's into just talking ball and giving good takes, and this is a good one, in my opinion. What do you think? Can the Knicks make the Eastern Conference Finals? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I want to hear from you. I thought he really made his point right here, though, that coming from Mr. Zach Lowe. Quote, why can't we wake up in May and the New York Knicks are in the conference finals? Maybe not the NBA finals. That might be a little bit too much. Bobby Marks thinks they can get there. But why not go to the conference finals? This is a good, deep team. And they're well coached by Tom Thibodeau. They're going to grind defensively. And in the NBA playoffs, you have to be able to scheme together stops. And Tom Thibodeau can do that. He showed you he could do that against the Miami Heat. Knicks didn't lose because of the Heat, because of defense. Yeah, I didn't love their defense, but at the end of the day, they were only averaging like 103 points per game against the Knicks. It was their lack of outside shooting. It was the lack of their offense really being able to flow, and it wasn't through Jalen Brunson. I'm going to say it. The East outside of the Milwaukee Bucks is wide open. I'm not scared of the Heat. I'm not scared of the Sixers. I'm not scared of the Celtics. Damn sure not scared of the Cavs. We just mollywopped them in the playoffs last year, and we got better, and they added Max Strus to the starting lineup. He ain't guarding R.J. Barrett, I'll tell you that much. I'm going to get into why I think the Eastern Conference Finals is where the Knicks are heading and who on the Knicks roster needs to help them get there. But first, you got to get hooked up with a proud new sponsor of the show, PrizePicks. Go to PrizePicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. PrizePicks is daily fantasy sports made easy. PrizePicks is the largest independently owned daily fantasy sports platform in North America and is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy. It's just you against the numbers. So this is what it looks like when you open up the app. It's going to give you a whole bunch of player stat lines that PrizePicks has set. You simply select more or you select less. The more players you add to your lineup, the more money and the higher the payouts can be. You can go between 2 and 6 players. They have some future stat lines for some of these Knicks players, Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle, and R.J. Barrett, to name a few. Get hooked up. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. I love the quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and the enormous amount of selections of players and stat types that PrizePicks has, and that's what makes it the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Go to PrizePicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Zach Lowe thinks if the Knicks are going to make a run in the Eastern Conference, it starts with big number 30. The big obstacle for them in the playoffs, assuming they get back, is Julius Randle has to play better. He's 34% from the field in his career for the playoffs. He's been there twice. He shot poorly both times. That's the next level for him and them. But the NBA Finals, that's a little bit too much, talking about when Bobby Marks predicted the Knicks to make the Finals. And I 100% agree with what Zach Lowe was saying. I think every Knicks fan out there would agree. Julius Randle is the X factor for the Knicks. I'll stand on this take right here. If regular season Randle shows up in the playoffs and the Knicks are healthy, they can make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Thing is, it hasn't happened yet in 2 postseason trips for Randle and the New York Knicks. He's been more than underwhelming. I don't have a term to use without being disrespectful. I'm not trying to do that to Julius because I'm a Julius guy this year. It's cool if other people make fun of Julius, or it's cool if I make fun of Julius. It's not cool if other people make fun of him. But at the end of the day, he just has to be better. You see the stats on screen in the playoffs. You've seen him plenty of times before. Just not good enough. What is good enough is what he's done in the regular season 2 out of the last 3 years. I mean, in 2020, there's a reason he was made a second-team All-NBA. In 2022, there's a reason he was selected third-team All-NBA. 25, 10, and 4 on 46 and 34 from deep. If you get that next to Jalen Brunson in the playoffs, yeah, I do think the Knicks can make the Eastern Conference Finals. I know it's a big if, but it's what I believe. He's got to show up. He does. Because if he does, it's going to take the pressure off number 11. He can only do so much. He can only be so special. The man averaged 31, 6, and 6 on 50 and 35 from the deck against Eric Spoelstra. Eric Spoelstra in the Miami Heat. It's ridiculous. He was able to do that against the best coach in the NBA. He really, really is. And he's a special, special player. He needs help, though. He can't do it himself. If 30 plays like Big 30 that we know he is, he can absolutely do it. Some concerns I have against the top teams in the Eastern Conference. Let's start with the Bucks. It's the star power. Let's be honest. Look, when you have Giannis and when you have Damian Lillard, yeah, that's going to be tough to play with. That's a lot of star power. That's a lot of juice. I am concerned potentially about that matchup for the Knicks, not just because of their size, but because of Dame, because of Giannis, because of Middleton. That's going to be a really tough beat. Hopefully, you succeed in the regular season and you get to avoid them until the Eastern Conference Finals. That's what I feel about the Bucks. The Heat, the only thing I'm scared about, I'm not scared of Jimmy Butler. I'm not scared about Bam Adebayo. I'm literally only scared about Eric Spoelstra. I think he's one of the best coaches in this league, and I think that he's a better coach than Tibbs, and I think he has his number right now in the playoffs. But the Knicks are a better team. They're more talented. They're deeper. To be quite frank, they're just as top-heavy as them. And you're probably going to get them out of home series again. You got to beat them this time. When it comes to the Celtics, what am I afraid of? Potentially the wing scoring. Jayson Tatum, we know what he does. Jaylen Brown, we know what he does. Knicks, if they lack anything, it's size at the wing defending position. I trust DiVincenzo and Josh Hart to battle and grind it out. There's only so much 6'4" and 6'5" wings can do when you're trying to guard a 6'10" Jayson Tatum. I'm really not scared of the 76ers at all. But the only thing I would say that kind of worries me a little bit is Joel Embiid. If he is healthy, he's going to be able to get Mitchell Robinson in foul trouble. And Isaiah Hartenstein is not a good matchup for him. So that's the only thing I'm really scared of with the 76ers. But I like my odds against these 3 teams against the Knicks. I think the Knicks can beat all of these teams in a playoff series, except for this right now. A trade is going to happen if the Knicks want to beat them. But also, Giannis was hurt last year. Dame was hurt last year. They're super top-heavy. Middleton was hurt last year. They don't have the depth they used to. But a 5-man lineup of Connaughton, as well as Middleton and Dame and Giannis and Lopez and Crazy Eyes, Bobby Portis. Yeah, Bucks are going to be pretty freaking good this year. As always, I just want to say thank you, and I appreciate you for tuning in to Knicks Now. If you haven't yet, hit that sub button, sub for Knicks Dubs. We'll see you later. Have a good weekend.